Femi, what do you consider as best-in-class CRO agency or consultant?
Wow, that's a good question. Let me start with a story. So, a few years ago, I was hired by a client. They had an existing CRO agency, but they were not happy with that agency, and they brought me in as a in-house CRO, conversion rate optimization consultant. So, the first thing I want to say is, if you're already working with your CRO agency and you have the feeling that they're not best in class, you don't have to wait until the end of the contract before you bring in a second opinion to make sure that you're getting your best results. So CRO is not something you wait for. And if you're working with a Google Ads agency or SEO agency and you're not getting conversions, just bring in a CRO consultant or an agency to help you. So best in class, when I was working with this client to help them hire an agency. So I'm just going to talk through the process and you can pick up what best in class means. So I went online and then I typed in best CRO agencies in London. I got a list of CRO agencies. I'm not going to mention name in any way, but there's some agencies that are just purely CRO. That's one group of agency where the only thing they do is just CRO. Underneath that bucket, there's some agency that are just purely A/B testing. That's the only thing they do. But some agencies have UX capabilities. So for me, the first thing you want in an agency is an agency that comes to you with questions rather than solution. You see some thought leaders and CRO experts doing tear downs of websites. You can't really judge a website without understanding the target audience. A website can look ugly as anything, but it might still be converting. So what you need is an understanding of the user. So the best in class CRO agency have a strong base on user experience. The reason why I say this is when I started my career in SEO, the thing that piqued my interest, the thing that triggered my interest in CRO was working in an agency. That agency on one side had SEO, on the other side had a UX agency. I didn't know what UX was back then. So I just walked down towards the other end of the agency and I saw a usability testing lab. I was curious. I was like, what's this? And then the UX people told me, oh, we test people here before we design the website. I was fascinated. I'm talking about 2011. And then when I then went back to the SEO side of the agency, I spoke to the director of SEO, like, I saw something that is UX there. It's really interesting. We should integrate it into SEO. I was like, no, that's something for developers. Back then, it was the days where SEO was just keyword. But I fell in love with UX there because I saw that they were asking actual users questions. So what I'm trying to say is the best in class CRO agency will always start with usability studies. They will always start with usability testing. A/B testing is one tool in their toolbox, not the only tool in their toolbox. So that's the first thing you want to look at. So when I was researching those agencies, I invited them all in to like, okay, drop their pitches and things like that. One thing I was looking at was their team structure. So in some instances, companies hire agencies and not even ask about team structure. It's an important thing you need to ask about. You want to see their capabilities. Are they a full funnel agency or are they just CRO only? Because we all know that there are different touch points that contributes to conversion. So if an agency is only focused on just CRO alone, for me, it's a bit of a red flag because I would rather hire an agency that does Google Ads and has CRO embedded as part of their services rather than just a standalone CRO agency. So to your question, the best CRO agencies are not just CRO focused alone. They would have elements of maybe website development, they will have elements of SEO, they will have elements of email. So you're looking not for a CRO agency but a digital experience agency.
How does working with a CRO agency differ from trying to improve conversions in-house?
So working with a CRO agency, again, that goes back to what the agency structure and mindset looks like. If an agency is just focused on A/B testing alone, that's the only thing they're offering. But when we work with clients, we want to know. We do a lot of upfront user research. We do a lot of upfront understanding. What are the pain points? What are the motivation? What are the emotional triggers? What is the first thing that triggers people when they decide that, okay, a problem identification before they even get into that product research? All these things we look at. We also want to look at, okay, how do you differentiate that client from other competitors? So yeah, that's how we approach it. We make sure that we're heavy on user research. So to answer your question, in-house team, you have more connection with other departments, but the external agency, sometimes depending on how the agency think, if it's a full funnel agency, then they would want to speak with your SEO team, they want to speak with your email, they want to speak with your brand team. Those interconnection, they understand and appreciate that. They want to be involved with when you're creating the assets, the creative for your Google ads, the creative for your videos, all those things. So in-house is a lot easier to have that synergy, but an agency can equally achieve that if you're working with a full funnel agency.
You referred to usability testing previously. Is there any other expertise that a CRO agency or consultant should have?
Listening. So some CRO experts talk more than they listen. So for me, when you talk about, I like using the word digital experience because you need to have a lot of empathy. You need to be able to switch off the noise, switch off your your perception, your preconceived idea, and then have like a beginner's mindset. Like I've worked on a lot of websites. I've worked in luxury. I've worked with government. I've worked with finance, every organization. But I go into a CRO project with ultimate respect for the client, not assuming anything, but just having an open mind, wanting to listen and learn about their target customers, wanting to understand what is already working, not assuming that everything is bad. So you really, really want a CRO that listens. And listen, when you talk about deep listening, is a skill that is not, everybody talks. The internet is full of noise, but people don't listen. But you need a CRO person that understands human psychology, that understands what makes people buy. You literally need a CRO person that can look at a customer when he's doing usability testing and ask the right question and listen. Active listening, for me, that's the most important CRO skill, because when you listen, you understand their pain points, you understand what motivates them. And when you're even doing the research, if you don't have access to the customer, because you're going to go all over the internet to research motivation and what triggers people to buy, if you go in with a preconceived idea that I have the answer rather than looking for the answer from the customer, then that's a recipe for disaster.
What about data and analytics? How important is that in CRO?
Yeah, I used to say something that is a fool with a tool is still a fool. Sometimes you have data, but that data is just shit data. So you're using shit data to gather insight. That's a problem. Analytics is important, and analytics is an output of the website you designed. So if you designed a crappy website, what does that say with your analytics? So my recommendation always is to just pay attention to where the money is coming in, pay attention to that business revenue, profit margin. That's your best analytics. Whatever activity you're doing at the front end, if it's not bringing traffic, if it's not bringing revenue and profit, you're not doing well. Whatever activity you're doing up front, if revenue and there's growth. And the reason why I say this is Google Analytics and analytics data are out of the box. They're templated. They're not really designed for like different scenarios. So your analytics need to be configured and created to align with your business objective. So the best in class CRO agency is the agency that also meets your budget. If you don't have a huge budget, you're not going to get the best in class. But ultimately, there's a middle ground. You don't have to tie yourself into a contract with an agency. You can just have like CRO audits, UX audits, quick wins, where you can just get an agency, hire them for like 3 months, and then you're saving yourself a lot of problems. If you need help with getting CRO and optimization contact me and connect with me on LinkedIn, and I will be happy to help you. Pew, pew.